The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show Live. I am the big guy, Ryback. Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone is having a great day. Streaming live Instagram and TikTok, the big guy, Ryback22 over there on those platforms. You're streaming over here on YouTube, Ryback TV. Also on Twitter at Ryback. Your questions, guys, are answered. Your super chats are greatly appreciated. The big guys, Starbucks and Shoulder Massage Scar Tissue Fund on that. Always greatly appreciated the contributions to the super chats on there. And the ebb and flow of the show goes where your questions go. You are the co-host of the show, if you will. And I do my best to answer your questions along the way. Health, fitness, supplementation, mindset, pro wrestling, anything and everything in between, current events. And happy to dive in to anything that I may be able to contribute a little bit, at least on any of that. This show is available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated if you have a moment. And this podcast, is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, no harmful artificial sweeteners and colors for men and women, he, she, and thee on feedmemore.com. You can save 20% with discount code RybackShow20. That's RybackShow20 over on feedmemore.com. We have all the cool new Ryback merch as well. I've got this Meet Me at the Bar shirt with the R logo on it as well. We've got a lot of non-Feed Me More, non-hungry shirts. We've got like an Only Gains protein shake, I So Hungry. I violate community guidelines, which on TikTok, they hit me on one of my posts that I do the stupid the other day. And so the account, that's why they've been hiding a lot of my posts. That's why there hasn't been as many posts the last few days. And then they just hit me with a community guidelines violation and didn't reverse it the first time on one of those stupid videos. And they flagged it for harassment and bullying, and which is crazy because always the AI, if it did flag it, a human would be able to go in there and look at the context and realize it's not me like actually like making fun and calling a person stupid. It's like stupid situations, and it's from wrestling, and it's just like, man, context is important. But AI, we live in scary times, and I don't know if it's because it was a female, but I've got hundreds of millions of views where it is not classified as harassment and bullying, and they've decided, because I don't know if it's because they're my more popular post or what, but we'll see what happens. So hoping to see some more posts on there, and we got to kind of just wait and see what happens. Super chats coming in. Sammy Romero, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Vince McMahon can go, I believe, F himself is what you were saying right there. And we'll see what happens with the information that is more to come. That is surely coming, and it's kind of just a wait and see. I don't know. I said before, like, he's out now, and we'll see if he sells his shares or if they decide to sell the company. This is far from over, in my opinion. I think it's far too soon, and it's just literally they're making the best of the situation with the resources they have at hand, and putting like Triple H and Stephanie and Nick Khan in the positions, and we'll just have to wait and see what direction things go. I am just doing a Starbucks decaf, a decaf K-Cup from home. I will be making my Starbucks trip here very shortly after the show. I will actually finish the show. I will do a quick round on the shoulder of the scar tissue with the golf ball, my Incredible Hulk golf ball. And then I will go make my ISO Hungry plant-powered caramel cookie protein shake, 3 scoops with a organic peanut butter and jelly sandwich on Dave's Killer Bread, protein bread. And I'll have my lunch. I'll go back, do another round on the shoulder, and then take the dogs out for their weekly their daily car ride, and then go grab a coffee, and then get ready, do a little bit more work at home, just small period, like a 30-minute thing while I enjoy my coffee. And then it's working out, big leg day and ab day today. And there's a little bit of cardio. And I'm not sure if I'm training at home or going to the gym yet. I tend to do legs at home a lot, but I've also gone to the gym. I did legs at home last week, but prior to that, I did legs like for 3 or 4 weeks at the gyms in town. So I'll have to see. It's an overcast day, cloudy day in Vegas. Big guy was up early today, up at 5:20 a.m. today, and did a lot of my stocks. And I'm big on the stocks, and I always have been. And I've gotten better. I've took a lot of courses years ago. I used to post like the courses, and I finally, because I made a lot of money years ago, and then I also lost quite a bit of money, a lot of money, and that's what inspired me to take the courses. And because I fell in love with some companies, and those companies I made a lot when I was making money, and I cashed out some very nice paydays years ago, and then but I took some big losses too, and where they kind of everything probably balanced itself out over the years. And then I realized, like, 'cause I'm not big on like, so like I'm familiar and I understand short selling and like and calls and puts and like, but I truly like I believe in staying true to myself. I don't like betting against companies. I don't wish to see a company's share price fall. It happens all the time. They go up and down. And I go, how can I invest to play to my strengths and how I am mentally and make as much money as possible? And while long-term investing is always a promising thing in the right companies, I believe the market has changed, and I believe the best way to invest, for me personally, is doing betting on green with trail stops on it, and the and essentially what that is, and it's done me well, is if I believe I have my stocks that I'm familiar with and that I like, and I constantly I'll research. I do this on top of all my Feed Me More Nutrition work, and I'll look at certain stocks and see like when their earnings report is, because a lot of stocks will have days where they run and they go green and they go up a lot, and so that is why I go. That to me is, I like that, and that's exciting for me. And I go, so what is a way to get into stocks? In you pick your stocks, and it might just be one stock one day. And I go, I'm gonna buy this stock. It's $5 a share, and I believe I'm gonna see what it opens at in the morning, and I'm gonna keep an eye on it for a little bit. And the moment I think and I see it's gonna run, or I believe it's starting to run, you put an advanced order in through what what I use. You have to do an advanced order where you put buy a market share. I'm gonna buy it. Say the stock's $5. I'm gonna put $50,000 on this $5 stock, and I'm gonna put a 25 cents stop trail stop on it, where it buys it. Say it buys it at $5, it'll keep a 25-cent trail stop on it, so that if it say the stock I bought at 5, and just say it just went straight down, and it to in 475 would be my where it would sell at for me, so it would really minimize my losses on that. But this is why you watch and you look and you're betting on green. And so when the stock, so say that stock starts climbing and it goes up to 501, my trail stop now goes up. It stays at 25 cents, but it goes from 475 to 476. So then if the stock runs up to 525, and my trail stop goes to $5, so now I can't lose any money because it's going to come down. It's and say it just completely crash down after that, I would break even. I wouldn't lose any money. And say it just keeps going. Say it runs all the way to $6, my trail stop would go all the way up to 575 on that. And then if it came crashing down, I would make 75 cents a share on that. That would equate to thousands of dollars for the right on that. But my loss, if it would have went the other way, it would have been very minimal. And so it's on that you're taking small minimal risk, and the upside are typically way bigger than the downside ever is. And so like all you need is one good green day, and that can erase 20 bad small little red if you had 20 small picks in a row that just didn't go your way, right? Which would be extremely rare with it. But you might have two or three where you're like, those picks didn't go the way I thought, but you've lost very minimal money in the grand scheme of things, especially the more money you have with it. And that to me is the exciting way to invest for me, where I'm not betting on stocks failing and short selling, and because it just doesn't sit well with me. And a lot of people do short sell and they bet against stocks and they're happy with that, and they're making money. They make money that way. I try to stay true to who I am and play to my strengths and my mindset. And I found the best way to invest and make money that way. And you don't do that with all the stocks, but you pick the ones that are worth it. And it's fun. And it's fun. And it's like I'm telling you, it's you can have some really good days. No, stocks only. I invested in crypto years ago, and I'll tell you, I never felt good about it. I made money in it, and then I lost money in it as well. I probably broke even in my crypto experience. Now, I will say, I don't think it's bad for people that like if you are this just I mean, I'm talking like elite wealthy and you're like, I'm just gonna put $5 million in this, and you don't give a damn about that $5 million, and like you're just gonna sit on it and like that can pay off hugely. But like I think it's just not it went up, it made me a bunch of money, and then I cashed out some, and then I waited a bit, and then I was in, and made a little, and then it like crashed, and I was down for like 2 years, and then it came back up, and I salvaged some of that, but I had to sit on that for like a couple years. I was like, I didn't like it. But hey, everyone has their thing. That's just like the way I really like stocks in different companies, um, because you can get a good little view of a lot of things going on, and I understand how to read like charts and like again too like with the trail stop, you know, it sometimes I like to play it particularly pretty safe because there's certain stocks where I'll only do like a 4 or 5 cent um, trail stop where that if it reverses and it goes starts going down, like it's going to cash me out of that position pretty quickly. But I'm satisfied with that because the loss is so minimal. And when the upside when it is green, it tends because I tend to pick stocks that go in where you can they have big days and that's where I mean all you need is one nice trade like that sets you up at you then you can take out what you want to keep for yourself. Oh, I went up 60,000. I'm going to take 15 or 20,000 for my personal account. I'm going to set aside this for taxes, and then I'm going to put another 20,000 into my investing account. So now you're investing with 20,000 extra dollars, right? And it gives your money more power. And that's where it could really the more that's why they say when people when you figure things out, you could do really well. And it's protecting them. Like 'cause I've been burned by staying and falling in love with stocks and like, no, I believe in this long term and I've been burned. And as has anyone that invests, I think at some point in time. And that's where I took a lot of those courses and I had to realize like, okay, I don't I didn't I can't let my emotions get involved and it's practice. A lot of people can't handle. I've seen other like wrestlers try to get invested in stocks and their money starts like going down like a couple $100 and they're freaking out and I just laughed. I was like you got to be like I think it's good to lose money and then you realize I think it's really good to make money, but I think it's good to lose money because you kind of lose that fear where you're like but you get better and you learn from your mistakes because you don't like that feeling and but I've taken a lot of courses over the I mean a lot and there's a lot I don't know but I do know what I do know and I've always been pretty good at playing to my strengths. So all right, let's get go to some questions here. I have not retired from wrestling. Super chat, Justin Hall. Good to see you, man of steel. Yo, Ryback, did you happen to see the artwork Emily sent you via Instagram? Enjoy the day. No, I have not, buddy. I haven't got anything. I'm telling I don't I haven't been I've been mass deleting messages. I have so many people that send me memes and things for like the post where I do the stupid. I just started mass delete. Like I don't even it's not even worth looking at anymore. And I get at Instagram, but not from you guys, obviously. But they like I have things where people shouldn't be allowed to even message me unless like I follow them and they follow me. Man, they've like they've just letting everybody message and they go into my accounts and like I got people that come into my primary messages and my general messages that I've never even have no clue who they are. And I'm like, how the hell are these getting through? And I just like I'll go on there, man. Oh, you have 130 unread message. Just delete. I'm not spending any time on that. I don't care. Like, but so if I follow her. If she's sending it, tell her to send them from the thing, and I'll look for it on it. And yeah, I will check that out. Really, I'm telling you, I got like there's so many things like I've been like trying to spend as little time on social media too, outside of just making my post. And it's I try to like I tell people, and like this happens too, like women, they start sending memes. I'm like, I don't need any help with any of this. I've got my stuff in place. I have an endless connection of all this stuff. And it like I think no one's doing it like out of to be mean or anything. They're like, oh, we're just trying to give you content. But the problem is people don't understand. Like, I don't have time. It's just too much. I don't like seeing, oh, you've got 500 unread messages of just stupid reels that people want you to do stupid post on. But have her send. I'll keep an eye out for it if it comes here after the show. That way, hopefully it's close to the top. Hello, hello. Did I miss a super chat? Hope Spot. When will Hope Spot, the Feed Me More Nutrition Hope Spot, be back in stock? Very soon. The labels just got finished and are being sent to the manufacturer, and they are getting the new batch shipped out. Hopefully, I'm hoping it's in within the next 2 weeks on that. And so thank you for your patience on that as well. And then the vanilla mocha ISO hungry protein will be in stock as well. Someone says, quick question, fitness question. Have you ever gotten an exertion headache in the back of your head when lifting? Had a scare with that a few months back. Fortunately, it wasn't anything too serious. I can't recall um, ever getting that. Um, I don't know if you were maxing out or going lifting really, really heavy weight, and heavy weight depended on whatever is heavy for you. I think there's times I've seen like the videos of people too, like where they're deadlifting and they pass out and they black out from the deadlifting. And I've done like some pretty crazy feats of strength where I've really, really spent myself, and like where I'm like, man, I like you gotta like take a moment and get your wits about you. But I've never had like a headache or anything. But I would imagine, I don't know if that can come from holding your breath. Um, or blood pressure rising too suddenly. There's a lot of things with lifting, especially, and the more I learned, and like I love lifting heavy weight as much as anybody, but I also then like I like being healthy and feeling really good. And I think and I just remember how I used to lift when I was younger, and now and I live and I see, you know, I see it too. Like a lot of when I go to the gyms and I see how like the EOS fitnesses here have all the deadlift, the squat racks and the platforms, and a lot of people deadlift now, way more than like I'm talking just regular look, like people that just like don't look like they play sports or anything. A lot of more people are deadlifting than ever, and I go, it's not bad, especially if you can lift within a certain range and you keep it. But a lot of people I see guys usually loading weights on, and it's really one of those lifts unless you like really have a purpose for it. But I mean, I understand it because with men, and we're ego lifters at times, a lot of times. But I think too, a lot of times you just see stuff like, oh, go do bench press and deadlifts and this, and there's so many ways to build muscle and to stay strong and healthy. And you want to learn how to lift with free weights the proper way. A lot of people, they don't have proper training, and it really on all those lifts, it just takes, you see it all the time. People get injuries and they're done, and they never do anything. It's just because it is such an important thing. But I don't know what would cause that and what you were doing, but I'm glad you're all right and it didn't turn out to be anything serious outside of the moment of what it was. But it's I feel like a lot of that stuff tends to come with heavier lifting. Not to say maybe it wasn't with you, but in my experience, I feel like anything I've ever seen comes from really heavy lifting. Justin says I've screenshotted so many of your Instagram memes over time to save to my collection. Thank you, buddy. Are you stoic as you seem? I could tell that hate can't get to you. Yeah, I would say I wouldn't say hate can't get to me. I just think I'm good at shifting out of it really quickly, and I've had a lot of experience with it, and with like fake hate over other things, but like so I've just gotten really good at how I deal with it, and I always look at it as like, and I just put out a thing this week on my Feed Me More Nutrition newsletter, and then the text was a short version of it. But like, no matter what direction that we choose to go in life, whatever, when you get in your car, wherever you choose to go in the game of life, whatever direction we go, we're going to be met with haters and detractors that try to stop us, that try to tell us we're wrong, that just try to distract us. And it's up to us to know what our destination is and to continue on with our destination. And it is normal. Sometimes you're going to stop, but the longer that we stop along the way to deal with these haters and detractors, the more time that gives them to kind of gang up. And then also, though, it's wasted time to getting to your destination, right? So that's how I always look at this stuff. And like whenever I see anything or I go, I just boom, block, move on, keep going. But even that, like I even say, like if I, it's like don't look at that stuff. Even limit the time that you use to look at comments or anything on social media. And I've gotten so much better at that where it's like, because you want to encounter, you want to interact with the good at times and whatnot. But I look at it as like these people are trying to take my time away from me. My time is the most valuable thing for me. And if I catch myself stopping along the way, I get mad and I go right back into doing work. I got to go back and do 20 more minutes on my shoulder. I got to go do this. I got to get this done, and this done before I can even think about going back to this. And so I had a lot of experience, and that's what I put that out this week, that no matter who we are, what we do, people are gonna attack us, right? And people are gonna love us, and all of it. You just got to know where you're going, and you just got to go there and stay as focused as possible along the way. You could be Tom Brady. You could be the greatest, if not one of the greatest QBs of all time. Everything's always open for people's opinion on that, right? But every day, people give him massive love and give him massive hate. But the moment you stop, the moment he retires, people will say, you're a has been, you're washed up, you're done. You're going to deal with it no matter what you do in life. I've dealt with all of this. You can't do this. You can't do that. You suck. You weren't this. You weren't that. And it's just like that. You just got to nope. I don't care. Just keep going. I'm doing this, working to this, boom. And it's like, if you say I said, you know what, I never want to wrestle another day in my life. Say I said that, and I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing, and people don't know my investments, people don't know my business, they don't know what I'm doing, right? They just say, oh, you're a loser. You just eat food in your car. You eat food. I deal with this on a weekly basis from people. You're a has-been washed up wrestler. You're a loser. You're worthless. You eat food in your car. We don't care that you make money for it, but you're a loser. You're never going to do anything. You're washed up. You're pathetic. You're a meme. Okay, so, but and you see, that's just one little thing, and it's like, hey, you don't know if I just made $150,000 today you don't know how much my business just made me today, right? But like, that's but people, they assume things, they say things, they do things. You got to know who and what you are and just keep working to what you're working towards. And, at the end of the day, because no matter what, whether you do it or you don't do it, you're going to get hate and negativity. And that's what I try to pass on to the people when I talk, because I've had a lot of experience. I've read listened to a lot of audiobooks, and I've had a lot of experience. And so it's just, and there's tips, I put two, and I went through a phase on like where if something got really bothered me on social media, I would leave back a loving, kind comment to them. And that helped me for a bit handle it where a little better, where I felt the need to respond to something and to acknowledge it. And then I got to a point where it was like, this isn't even worth my time. I'm not, they're not even worth my 20 or 30 seconds to write a loving response. They're nobody in my life. They're not going to change. And even if they do, I don't care. I don't know them. They're nobodies in my life. I'm going to use that time, and I'm going to save that 30 seconds just to keep living my life and moving in the direction that I'm going. And that's where everyone's going to have their own way of handling and processing things and whatnot. But there's a factory line of haters and detractors out there that want to say no, 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 and they will appear no matter what direction we go. Whether you're super successful, you're never as successful as what they will let you know that you're not as successful as you are. And whether you choose to live a life in the low and live low key and kind of in the shadows, you're nothing. You're not successful. You haven't done anything. You're a loser. You're a loser. You're a loser. I hate losers. So that's why I say, just be yourself, know who be ourselves, know what we want, know what we're working for. When we get in our car, right? We typically know this is the best way I understand how to really help people picture this. When we get in our car, and not to say there's times when we might want to go joyriding, but we have a general idea maybe what direction we're going to go, right? With that, maybe not sometimes, but typically when we get in our cars, we have a destination point, right? I'm going to go get gas and I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gas station. I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to go to the gym. And then anything that distractions along the way is preventing me from getting my stuff done, right? With that, and that's kind of how you have to look at setting goals is that we're getting in our car and we're going to go, my goal is this and to get my health back fully. So I am driving to destination Healthville for my back and shoulder. And I'm not going to let things distract me and take me out of the way to this. Boom, I'm going to get in my car. We're going to take this business and we're going to make this amount of money with this business in this amount of time. And we're going to go this direction. And we're driving in that direction. And it doesn't matter. The people are going to say stuff, me, 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 no matter what. And we do, but at least we're doing the things and we feel good. And then it's just people, you just got to realize that they don't matter in that sense of like good or bad. And good is always great, but it doesn't matter in the sense of you got to just go to where you're going as long as you're not hurting anyone, not running anyone over in the way, right? You don't want to, you're not harming another individual. You have your goals and you work towards your goals. You're not harming anyone, and that's the beauty of life. #hungry. I do drink a lot of liquids. I drink a lot of water, and I do a couple my decaf and a regular coffee during the day. But I've always been big. It's really important to stay hydrated. Ryback and Grimm in a tag team. Eat it, feed me more. Yeah. Tag team. Eat it, feed me more. Yeah, I like Grimm. Me and Grimm and the I don't know what our call ourselves. I don't want to say jacked and FAT for TikTok. The and our catchphrase is with the feed me more, but eat it. I'm the jacked, muscular, great endurance, and Grimm is Grimm. But we're almost like twins, Arnold and Danny DeVito. But of I would say Grimm's quite a bit larger than Danny DeVito. But I feel like I feel like that could be a very successful tag team. I don't know if Grimm would have to make it on the big time because the endurance factor. I don't know Grimm's endurance. I feel like it's not. A top tier level, but I could be wrong. I've also never seen Grimm do 20, 30-minute match. But if we're working a tag team, we could hide his weaknesses all day long. I could do it all. We just have Grimm come in and Grimm can just take the heat all the time and just lay around and get beaten up. And he just has to make it over to tag me. We'll give him like a hope spot in the beginning to look good and then get him cut off every time. Let me come in, wreck house, clean house. And maybe Grimm can hop up and help with a double team move from time to time. We could be pretty good. Maybe we just book ourselves as champions of his promotion. Never lose. Strong. Me and him are in the creative meetings every week, just like who can we just completely demolish this week? GTS Wrestling promoting my GTS Go to Sleep. GTS Wrestling is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition. Go to Sleep, trademarked by the big guy Ryback. Would I shell shock a hater in real life if there were no consequences? No. Do you understand if you hit a shell shock on somebody in real life and the way that they come down on their back, neck, and head, you could potentially like, do you see what I'm saying? When I joke and say I'd shell shock you on concrete, I would never shell shock somebody on concrete. That move, shell shocking the back of their head would be split open instantly, as well as I would be hurting myself on that and hitting my elbows. Like, God, no. Desperation move in a street fight. Bunch of thugs out there with the big guy, just left and right, clearing house, knocking guys, kicking, thrust kicks. And a guy hops up and he's all of a sudden in position on my shoulders. And I go, oh my God, he's in the perfect shell shock position. Maybe I go ahead and I drop a shell shock if I know the other guys are laid out and I know that I can deliver that move and that's it. And that's the final piece. And I'm in defense and I know that it was just me defending myself and that would hold up in a court of law. Then maybe in that scenario I'd throw a shell shock, but it would not be. It's not something I think about. Super chat Smash Ultra, thank you. I bought the Just Dance game. This game actually turned my room into a swimming pool, and I was more liquid than man. Yeah, I would imagine the dancing, and you got. I don't know what they. I've seen like the video of the arcade games, and I'm assuming it's something like that. Those things, man, will burn a ton of calories if you start getting in that. When I was a kid, we had I remember Nintendo had an Olympic Games, and they had a power pad, I think it was called, but it was for you run on your feet, and it plugged in, and so you and your friends, or you could either play against the computer or against another person, and like they would have sprints. You would have to run and sprint in place on the power pad, and like and then the athletes would be running, and then you could jump and like do hurdles. And my friend had one. I never had one. We used to go over. Joey and Christina Mullen. They lived right behind J.T. McWilliams Elementary School, where I went to school in my elementary school years. And I always loved going over there because they had American Gladiators, the Nintendo game, and they had the Olympic with the power pad. And every time we'd go play it because I didn't have it at home, and we loved playing video games, and so and we would be going playing for hours on that. And so anything where you're moving though like that with video games, I think is a plus for kids. I think Derek, the oil boy, got carpal tunnel syndrome in his hand ever since Maximum Male Models debuted on SmackDown. There's, if talk about an opening. Derek, the oil boy, he looks like he's oiling up those models prior, and I tell you, it makes me a little uncomfortable seeing that gimmick play out, and which I think is a good thing that it makes me uncomfortable because I think that they will make very good heels if they use them efficiently with that. But it's yeah, Derek the Oil Boy. That would be that would be the opening to get Derek the Oil Boy on TV. I would have him as the sidekick Oil Boy, where he comes in at times and right, man. Derek the Oil Boy, he's out there in the ring. He's got his bottle of oil. The match is going on. The baby face is in the ring with two of the Maxim male models. Derek, the oil boy in the corner, is just getting a little overzealous, watching maybe one of the guys has him in a bear hug, and Derek, the oil boy, doesn't realize how hard he's squeezing the oil, but he does know. And like the oil goes all over the corner of the ring. And then the opponents, they go to run a spot where there's an up and over, and then the baby face slips and boom, crashes and burns. Maxim male models hit him with their finisher or pin him after, depending on how good it looks. Derek the Oil Boy helps contribute to the win. So many ways we can get Derek the Oil Boy involved in things. What's your dream? Again, I love you guys. I love how you have throw this in there with the dream. And I've addressed this before. I don't have. I don't think there's ever like I don't ever think I dream of stuff. What's your dream porn? I don't want to say because of TikTok. P star and wrestler mixed tag team match, including yourself. I'm guessing Phoenix Marie on your team. Yeah, maybe go me and Phoenix Marie versus Dolph Ziggler and Kendra Lust. That would be a big money matchup. Mixed tag, and we could orchestrate that to be WrestleMania match. That would be it. Maybe have Kimmy Granger as the guest timekeeper, and then we would have to get somebody else to be maybe get a couple other chicks as special enforcers to keep everything in order at the end and during the match, and then it all just breaks down. Justin says, I went back and rewatched the Body Slam challenge after you answered my question on a previous show. And man, knowing what I know now, it really put Big Show in a bad spot, makes him lose credibility 100%. And that lets you guys know what Vince thinks of the wrestlers that he did that to. And it's the most disrespectful thing. And he had a lot of money in all those guys. And Big Show got put in a really bad position because he could have got legally in a lot of trouble with the talent. Like, and when he slapped Nick Mitchell, because they were not supposed to touch us, like he really slapped, he broke his eardrum in that. But he was like, Nick was out there disrespecting him. And like, it was a horrible, just everyone was put in a horrible position all the time. And that's where I was saying the thing, it was like, then being in the business and making it, like, I can't even imagine being in WWE as Ryback and them saying, you're going to go out there with a bunch of guys and we're going to put you in this horrible position and you're not allowed to do this, and this. And like, we're not going to tell them anything. And you're going to hit them with a big power move. And we're going to just see what they do. I would end like, no, why would you, that's punishing me. That's not like, or I make sure that like, if that's the case, guys, this is what we're doing. Please self like, in Big Show, but he didn't even know what we were doing until like nobody. It was good, like, and it was just we weren't allowed to talk to anybody. It was such a horrible thing, man. That's why Big Show, I love him, man. He went through a lot there. Thank you very much. I don't have a favorite talker ever in wrestling. A lot of guys are great talkers in wrestling. Ragav Chalwa, thank you for the super chat. Back from a huge leg day. Hope you're well, big guy. Doing fantastic. I've got a big leg day and ab day as well. Am I friends with Joe Henning? I would say yes, I am. Everyone has a plan until they get shell shocked. Walter, good to see you. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Yeah, I like Grim a lot. Like I said, I do wish Grim would get in better shape. I am concerned for Grim from a health standpoint, and I genuinely wish he would take health and fitness seriously. But some people, it's just the way. There's a lot that goes into things, but I think he's very entertaining, and I've always gotten along well with him. I just wish he would get in better shape and eat a little better, more consistently. I'm looking to see if I had any super chats. Thank you for watching 11:55 a.m. in India. We live in amazing times. Social media, you can broadcast and talk to people. You know, if this was the 90s or even early 2000s, and I left wrestling, I wouldn't have a way to communicate and to talk to people. You wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to see you guys. You wouldn't be able to see me, right? Outside of like it was. It's so it's really cool the times we live in where we could stay in contact with people, and that's where I say like social media is like like the stuff, the content we view. Like I like looking at like a lot of animal stuff. It makes me feel good. Like if it pops up on my phone and I see a little monkey eating a watermelon, like I sit there and giggle, and I say giggle like it brings a smile to my face. Or if I see a cat and a dog where the cat is trying to play with the dog and interact, and like so I what I do is I like it, and we have control over the content, right? That we see, that we interact with, and so our social media experiences too could be very, very positive if we let them. But if we stay and we go on Twitter and Twitter's by default very negative platform where typically the most trending things are all negative things for the most part. Not always, but a lot of it. But like you can get really caught up in a negative, just negative, 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 negative. And I've just been good at like I just try to just focus, aware of things going on, but just kind of hang out in that Rybackville positive area as much as possible. All right, looking at the questions. How do you think you would market yourself if social media didn't exist? You would be going with what the options were at the time. I think too, like feed me more nutrition still would have been a thing, could have been a thing. What would have just been the goal of that would have been creating the supplements to go right to distribution, because there would have been no online sales. Say there was no internet, right? So it would have been doing that and going right to market and hustling and going through whatever was available to be getting as many stores and outlets as possible. With that, it's just simple things. There's so many. It's just things are different, and the more options we have now, and we have more independence and more power now. Before people, if you wanted to be seen, you had to try to go do TV or movies. The most popular people in the world don't do TVs or movies now. Still, a lot of the most popular people do, but a lot of super popular people never done TV or done movies. And I'll never people that I like it, and I hear like when people will say like social media and famous and like they try to like knock that. I go, what? How's that knocking it? Followers are followers or followers or followers. It's even harder doing it without, because you don't have that jump start from TV or movies, right? It's just people like you for whatever reason. We might not agree. We might not like the person I don't understand the Kardashians. I don't know anything about them. I don't follow them. I've like seen it. Like I saw a couple small things. I'm just like, oh, that's not for me. But they're super popular, super followed, right? And I don't hate that. It's just there's different types for different people out there. Uh, Raghav Chalwa, thank you again for the super chat. What do you think about WWE pay per view watch alongs? I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to. No, I would never do that. And I say that I just want it. I like to when I enjoy stuff or like sit back to watch. I'm not trying to do like multiple hour long streams of talking that whole time with a watch along. I don't, not my thing. I think they're cool people that do them. I know a lot of people enjoy that stuff, but I would never want to do that kind of stuff. We've talked about all the Vince and Triple H stuff already on past episodes. Todd Clark Chargers in the house. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Good old Clark Chargers. That school, when I was in school, the only school, Western was an old school, but Rancho and Rancho and Clark were the two schools that were considerably worse, like as far as I guess what how they were perceived with that. But I love all like I man I go drive by the schools still different schools when I'll go drive around different parts of Vegas and like all the time and just to go for a drive and to kind of look at areas I haven't been in and go by the different high schools that I used to play baseball games at. I went by El Dorado a few weeks ago. We used to play at El Dorado was another old school at the time. And man, it gives good memories going back and looking at that stuff because it's crazy how fast time goes by. You know, it's and it just makes you appreciate everything. Brother, you're gonna get you're gonna get blocked spamming the chat. What was the smallest crowd you've ever performed in front of? Was it harder to take bumps and get into the match with less adrenaline, etc. Um, so developmental, obviously, with OVW, we ran a couple shows that were like there were like just a handful of people out there. I want to say Bedrock, Kentucky comes to mind. That was multiple times where like not good turnouts there, but that was developmental. So and that I wouldn't count that like as far as now after making it and being on TV and performing in front of massive crowds and then going and doing independent. I had a lot of great independent shows I did those first few years that I did them towards the very end, and it was to this day I will say the worst independent. It was three shows and it was in Australia. The first half was the Rock and Roll Wrestling Tour. That was great. The guy that runs that, it was always top notch. Um, and the trip overall as a whole was very financially good. And the guy that ran I went and did three other shows. They added on, and like I think we were in. I know Adelaide was one of them. Was it Sydney? I can't remember, but it was like Melbourne maybe was the first one. But anyways, there was I don't know if Adelaide was the show where it was the worst, but this guy, and I don't know the details. I made a lot of money for the shows. He I'd heard some things about the promoter and the thing, and the guy was very nice still, but he charged a lot for tickets, and I don't think like there were a lot of just questionable things. And once you're there, you're there. And I debated and I talked to the other guy with the other promoter brought me down to the shows, and I was really hurt too, by the way. And I go, man, I don't need this money. I go, I really don't know if I want to do these three shows because they were not good turnouts and making a lot of money still. But and then I just looked at it, I go, well, the people that did come paid and a good portion of them to come see me wrestle. And I go, so it was after that happened, it was like, oh, I'll stay with it because that would be there were more negatives to leaving with that. And despite things not whatever. And the first night was like, I don't know if it was like 65 or 70 something people. Second night was like kind of like the same, maybe 80 something. And then the third one in Adelaide was not a lot of people. And I don't know if it was like 20 or 30 something people. And I mean, we're talking this guy he paid Christopher Daniels was on the show, me, Suicide. He brought in some Japanese people from it, and there were some other people too. There's and I'd heard no way he made money. I mean, he lost thousands upon thousands of dollars running these shows. But that was that will be in my book that I write my book on my life in wrestling. Um, and I will go into great detail on all of that. But that was tough as far as not tough. It's easy to go out there and wrestle, and I'm hurt. And I don't, but it was just more like Jesus. And this is after we'd had some big crowds in other places. It's like God, but that's what you get onto independence. You do a show, make 3, 4, $5,000 for the show, and the guy doesn't do that, and you wrestle in front of that. You're making money still, but it's kind of like, oh, I don't think I want to take another payday like that for that day because it wasn't it didn't, But at the same time, there were a lot of positives. The people that came up, they were kids with their parents. They paid $100 something for the tickets. The guy charged a lot for tickets, which was not a I didn't no idea about. But hey, very positive conversations and them getting to meet me and me getting to meet them, and very personable where it wasn't rushed, right? So there were positives on it as well, but it was just one of those that sticks out in my head of from my whole time doing independence where that was a rough one. Those three, but that last one was the worst. And that's just in the grand scheme. Now, is that like a horrible moment making thousands of dollars to go to that? No. So don't take it out of context of that. I'm just giving you from the lowest amount of people after that, and wrestling in front of in stadiums with thousands upon thousands of people, and then that it was like as Ryback, that was like ah. I like Wardlow. I don't know. I saw a part of Dynamite last night. Um, I don't really I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I thought everything was red hot with the MJF stuff, and I think it's maybe cooled off a little bit. Not a lot. I don't know, but I think that's a guy that I think you want a clear direction of where you're going with it, and he had a lot of momentum there with him coming, and but that's where you need the right heels to work with him to keep building him. But it's like you got to. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into it, and um, I just got to wait and see with it. I don't know what their endpoint is for him, and I'm not in that company. I don't know the way that things work. I can only ever speak from my experience in WWE and knowing the things that I know from how things worked there when I was there and some after. But yeah, I like him though. I think that there's potential for him to continue to continue just getting more over if they keep that going and they're able to get the right guys in there with them, the right stories. That's where you see it. It plays a huge role. Hello, hello. Good to see all of you guys. I did receive training under Dusty Rhodes. Yes, specifically more promo stuff for a period of a couple years. Very very grateful for that experience. Super chat Raghav Chalwa. Thank you again. Not putting attention on the hate, but I find it hilarious that people waste time making accounts just to hate in the chat. Like, do something productive. Yeah, and I agree. And if people are always going to do what they want to do, right? And it's not that's why you just block, just keep doing on. Don't let them distract from the show overall. And I will say this: the people, and I believe too, the people that get like that at one point loved me, and they're either, and I get this from some, they're really mad that I'm not back or haven't come back yet, and or they don't fully understand the grand scheme of everything, and they are lashing out in whatever way that they can with it, and we see it with like the people that make the accounts and they reach and they keep trying to say more and more crazier and crazier things. Boom, boom, go. I wish YouTube would when those accounts are reported, which I've already done on some of them, I wish they would be able to prevent these people from even using the platform. But I guess it is what it is. Dusty was always very, very kind and very good with me. I have nothing. Dusty used me very well, creatively, professionally, treated me very, very well. It was, I mean, I've never had one bad experience with Dusty Rhodes. So I like Dusty a lot. Have I ever considered wearing a mask like Kane or the Patriot? No. At no point. I think wearing a mask is the worst thing to do from a brand standpoint if people don't know, and especially after you've already wrestled and people know your face. Like, no, wouldn't want to wear a mask. Be like the green blob from Billy Madison. Let's see here, looking for the questions. Not doing anything with wrestling until my legal stuff is over with WWE with the Ryback trademark, as I've said pretty much every show here. And I continue to keep training and get in the best shape possible, and get my shoulder and that scar tissue around my scapula more and more free, and just keep growing my business and doing my investments and living life, and it's all going to work out the way that it needs to be worked out. When we're in the final stages. Thoughts on Enzo? I like Enzo. Enzo's done my podcast. I've always gotten along great with Enzo. I think he is beyond charismatic, and um, I think he should be involved in pro wrestling. I don't know. I wasn't there for a lot of things. People like guy was massively over, extremely entertaining. He cuts a hell of a promo. He's good off the cuff. He's good reading written verbiage. He's entertaining. You're not booking him to take out your main event heavyweights. You're booking him in program like when he was doing the cruiserweight stuff. I thought that was fantastic. I loved him in the tag team with him and Cass. I wish and that run was they were a very popular act, and I wish it could have lasted longer. And they split them up, and Cass was released, and then Enzo was gone, and crazy stuff, man. And I don't know everything, all the details of everything, and I've worked with him when he was in NXT still. And I went down there and did a little program, little thing, Dark or whatever it was, when I was heel Ryback feuding with Cena, and they were a pleasure to work with, and who else was there? And then I don't know, they were there briefly before I left shortly after they were up there. I was there. I remember the match Enzo got knocked out on. And I think I left shortly thereafter, if not pretty close. So with that, but I've always liked him. I've always let's see here. I know who's behind all the hate. A big YouTuber keeps sending them here. I'm sure whatever. We'll just keep blocking and keep doing. It doesn't really. It's a question and answer show anyway, so it doesn't really uh, disrupt things too badly. Bushwhackers, always enjoyed watching the Bushwhackers as well. Let's see here. We want to take a chat, take a question from TikTok. before we wrap up today's show, thank you for saying you're always motivated to work watching the show. I appreciate that. I have my own gym at home here, but I go to the gyms in town also. Depends if I feel like getting out and training or not for the day, depending on my time, my schedule, and things I got to do. Good to see everyone over on Instagram as well. Thank you for the love and support. I don't know how long Randy Orton is out. I'm curious to see because back injuries are extremely serious, especially if he's having surgery, which I'm not fully sure if that is the case or if they're having him rehab. I'm not fully aware of this specific injury. I just know he's wrestled for a very long time, and back injuries are very, very serious. All right, guys. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. We should have another Ryback show either tomorrow or Saturday. One of those days for sure. We will be getting one more Ryback show this week. So get your questions ready, and we'll go from there. Tyler, good to see you again, buddy. Tyler Sugaru contributing to the Super Chat Fund. Sorry I missed the chat, big guy. Have a good day. Tyler, you got in. You're in, Tyler. You never miss a day. Thank you very much, buddy. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. Right to that Starbucks app. And, but yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and get some stuff done. And I got to get work on the shoulder and have my ISO hungry and all that good stuff and get on with my huge training day with everything. So, but check out, guys, my Feed Me More Nutrition over on feedmemore.com. You can save 20% with discount code Ryback Show 20. That's Ryback Show 20. We got all the merch on there. I've got all shirts, tank tops, long shirts, sweatshirts, drinkware accessories, decals, as well as all the best supplements on the planet with that, guys. I'm wearing my Meet Me at the Bar shirt right here. We've got a lot of different cool merch up there. So check that out. Everything's categorized into men's, women's. We've got all kinds of hats and different things on there too. So check that out over on the feedmemore.com website. And until next time, my friend, until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications. And for the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch, visit feedmemore.com.